Good evening. Salot ina edlanot. Say hi, say what's up. Don't go to throw it in the comments. Masina Hosia Dun Zinige Thot Salayas and Ohal Huntadultiha. But first of all, I want to get started. Congratulations, Rebecca Strong. Zinike Canada's Got Talent national. So let's check it out here.
Canada's Got Talent 2024 and $1 million from Roger.
$1 million.
Rebecca Strong.
You know? Holy man. Masicho in there is oh man. Congratulations. Congratulations. Here's the performance.
I can see you crystal clear.
In case no English.
Tell me how did I lay your ship in? See how I leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I can do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. The stars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The stars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart inside, but you played it to the beat. Though you're so through every open door, can't your blessings to follow through the door.
Dut out zinige masicho hanya.
Into treasure gold. You're paying me back, you kind of reap just what you sow. We could have had it all. We could have had it all. It all. We could have had it all. Falling in the deep.
We could have had it all. Hanila. Rebecca Strong, once again, congratulations. Honestly, Stony Rapids, Prince Albert, it's and Joan Strong, but congratulations, everybody. Masi Babasi Niesan. So, see near the, interview. It's yeah, Babasi Nia, really happy for her. $1 million. And then I saw, Suddi Kado data be neon de la Facebook yes and message at us, and I think the Quatorium but the family Kodot Ilagola Nila. So please don't do that, respect them. Do it Lisi. So with that, Dun Zinigedano Halun Tathe Justin Herman, a chard mate, he was in President Leon de la and a dirtot in your tears on your balance and a yas a ya tea by a tear base. So ya tea then edit on the son. Collect the current ones are job a hell. So yas Justin Herman Berwurth doing Zinige. Once again, Masi Cho Justin Herman. Good morning, Edlanet Justin.
Nizon kuna.
Nazu Harel, how's the weather goes in Fort McMurray?
It's not bad. Dogabi Aurelia. Good day for golfing.
Good day for golfing. Yeah, yeah, Nazu. I know you got to get going here in a bit, but thank you for joining me here this morning. I wanted to talk about Chard Métis. I know Dene Yati. I know Raul is three. He's your partner there. What's his title with the nation?
Raul is the president of the Chard Métis. So he is the elected official along with the other board members. CEO is the group of companies to the nation. So basically, I'm the operations guy.
Okay, okay, Nazu.
And
I
then
know I've seen him around a few events too, so it's always good to talk to him. Métis Nation, Chart Métis Nation, Dlanti Siganottia, what are some of the things that you guys are doing in the community? I know in the news there's AA meetings, some new homes being built. Tell us a bit about that.
You know, we just hired a full-time program coordinator located in the community. And then her job is to work alongside the board of directors and also President Montgrand to make sure that all the members' needs are heard. And then our job is to make sure that we try to meet those needs. One of the biggest needs in our community is addictions and support for addictions and helping people battle their addictions. You know, there's a pandemic going across the country in Indigenous communities, and and you know, one of the things that may seem simple and readily available to people that aren't in the reserves or Indigenous communities is something as simple as Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, which before we started our NA meetings, there's never been one in Johnny before. And so, and then, you know, there used to be AA meetings in our community. There has been one for a few years. So we thought it was important to bring that back. Our program coordinators is certified to host those meetings. And then we also got support from a lot of the people that participate and organize the meetings and facilitate them in Fort McMurray. They come out there to help facilitate those meetings as well. We collaborate with the Chippewa Prairie First Nation and any of the other surrounding communities to make sure that it's inclusive as possible. And our job, I tell them, is to be consistent and make sure that the meetings are there and somebody's there to facilitate whether anybody shows up or not. Because one day somebody's going to show up and nobody's going to be there, and we don't ever want that to happen. And I think outside of that, you know, we have our housing initiative. We were part of the Synovus Indigenous Housing Initiative. We have our group of companies, which is our economic development arm. We're up to 17 partners now. We were, you know, huge growth. 2020, we only had one partner. Now we're up to 17. So big growth there. We're outside of our Synovus Housing Initiative. We have our own housing initiative that's aligns with that, and we were able to acquire 5 more homes that we're building. We had to acquire some land. We never had land before. We have our harvesting initiative. We have our elder care program, which we started. Where we support the elders. We put our initiative in our golf tournament every year. The funding from the golf tournament goes towards that. We pay all of the bills for any of our elders over 60. You know, utility bills, property tax. We put them all on benefits. We give them all benefits. We bought a medical van, so we have a medical transport. You know, you have to travel to Fort McMurray for any medical or Lac-La-Biche or any specialist. You have to go to Edmonton, right? So
Yeah,
you know, majority of elders don't have any income, right, other than their old age pension.
yeah. A quick one too. You know, good points. You can't AA meetings or any services. May teach you First Nations Dene a lot different in benefits. How difficult is Chard Métis, you know, accessing some of these services that are more easily available to First Nations than Métis? I mean, you know, not to divide or discriminate anyone, but it is a lot easier. Like you said, you have to purchase benefits for you know, some of the people in your community.
Ernie, you know, Indigenous Services Canada doesn't really have much budget aside, if any, for the Métis communities. They primarily funding is set aside for the First Nation and Inuit Olana,
Mm.
and then any funding that they put aside for Métis in Alberta gets funneled to the Métis Nation, which never, or I shouldn't say never, but oftentimes doesn't reach the Métis communities that it's supposed to benefit. It kind of gets stuck with the M&A in Edmonton, and then it's up to them who to distribute it to. So we left M&A in 2020 and basically became one of the founding committees for the whole Métis Federation. But outside of that, we've just been operating as a standalone community. So we have to get creative for when it comes to funding. A lot of our programs are funded through our group companies, and then we have a very talented grant writer on staff. He also serves as our director of consultation, and so he's gotten very creative in applying for grants. And then applying for grants is one thing. It's never guaranteed, so we don't have guaranteed funding. But it's applying for grants is one thing. But once you're successful, you have to implement them. You have to develop the programs. You have to have a facilitator, and then the back end, the reporting is even more difficult. And if you fail in any one of those, you're most likely not going to get the grant the second time because a lot of them are recurring.
Yeah.
But you may have to make sure you're organized, you're efficient, and your reporting is diligent if you want to keep providing these programs to the community. And our members, because they're not treaty, they're not status for medical benefits. If you can't afford it, you have to go through Alberta Health Services or essentially welfare, Alberta Works, and as most people know, that their funding and resources are very limited.
Mm-hmm.
So our health, which limits our healthcare, right? So we thought it was important to put our elders on a comprehensive benefit program, no different than a company would pay for their employees.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we're able to afford one of the top benefit programs that they were able to offer for our elders.
Yeah, that's very good. Ganal Tunda has done something like that a nation has to do. I didn't know you guys moved away from M&A, but I know AA and all that is free and it just takes somebody to show up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But good on you guys to take that initiative. Dlanalt Dene Chard Métis Dene members of it's no Nenega.
Just under 100 and living in the community. They've maybe 60% of our members live in the community, 60-70%. So still a high number. And you know how it is in Janvier, everybody kind of coexists there, Métis, First Nation, everybody speaks the same language, everybody lives the same lifestyle, everybody is impacted by the same good or bad, whatever goes on in the community. But the one thing I will say that I, myself growing up in the community is I find that our members, we're a little bit more connected to the land, spend a little bit more time on the land. And that's because we had to. We never had resources from Indigenous Services Canada or formerly INAC. We had to provide for ourselves. And the only way to provide for ourselves when you live in an isolated community is off the land, living a subsistence lifestyle, right?
Yeah. And that was going to lead into my next one because I know you said 10 homes. That's not a Denaha. I mean, it's going to home a lot of families because if you've been there, like that's a good point you made. We all there's no Métis or First Nations in our communities. A lot of times we're all related. And the history that comes from Coal Lake and Chard and even Heart Lake too, we're all related there somehow. But
the Lost Carson Lake.
Yeah, we're all related there. And, the land, this parcel of land that you receive, how big is the land and how important is it to, kind of, as you talked about there, developing homes or infrastructure or even land-based resources? I know that's in President Raul, Chinya Honio is into that, all that stuff. So utilizing the land for the good. Well,
the land that we had to acquire the land. We got selected to participate in the Synovus Housing Initiative. It's 2020 as but then we got selected, and then as one of the 6 impacted communities, then we realized we never had any land. Mm-hmm. So where were we supposed to put these homes, right? So then we had to get creative in acquiring the land. I partnered and also lobbied the city council for the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. They had some vacant land there. And then I was able to negotiate the first ever nominal fee land transfer for within the region. So we were able to get, I think originally it was 5 parcels of land, 5 lots, which were between 1.5 to 2 acres. And then we used all that land in short order. So then last year I was able to get another 8 lots, right? And then we bought probably about 2 or 3 more lots, and one of them being a 5.5 acre real commercial parcel in the land. And then we have the crown land on the north end of the community where, our people have been habitating uh, since contact, right? So all in all, I don't know what the exact land total is. I assume it's around 50 to 60 acres. And then for land use, a lot of, everybody just uses the land that's available to them,
Mm.
right? And fortunate for us, that's my family's trap line is starts right at the north end of the community, and runs all the way west to or east to the Saskatchewan border and north almost to Anzac. No,
Mhm.
so everybody the whole community uses that, and no one ever thinks that's my trap line. Get off my trap line. It's open to everybody as long as you treat it with respect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, in a lot of these questions, it's not to divide, but the Métis Nation is growing too, and they're really stepping up in a lot of these things that the First Nations receive too. That's why I asked that, right? But and we know in our communities, there's no we don't say, get the hell off my trap line or anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are like that. But Ani Thela career fair genau the Dene had Delu. Was there a lot of people at the career fair, and was it all industry or some of the professional careers? Tell us a bit about that.
No, it was very successful. The second one, on the last one was last fall, and last fall I think we had about 11 or 12 tables. We had at the Johnville Municipal Office, and then this time we had it at the Johnville Multiplex because we basically doubled in size. I think we had 24 tables, so quite a bit of growth since last year. Not even a year, I guess, about 8 months. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have it at the John B. Multiplex is to include the First Nations as much as possible, and make it as accessible for the people from the community as possible. There we had people there from all, a lot of our partners were there, but we also had representatives from the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. And a lot of our programming is open to everybody in the community, like AAA, NA, and like we have the Swift Learning. We partnered with Swift Learning Systems, basically, and they were there too. And they had a workshop there where they donated, and we negotiated a deal with them where they're going to do so many online safety courses to people from the community for free. And basically, you need all these 50 classes or certifications. If you're going to go out on site, you need H2S, first aid, CSO, all, confined space. And now the people in the community could get that online for free through this alignment that we have with Swift Learning.
Mhm.
And then we also had somebody come there for a resume writing workshop, right?
Yeah.
So it was more than just a career fair. It was to promote growth from within the community and provide them with more resources, right?
Mhm.
So we had people from industry there. Again, I think we had Keanu College there. We had a pretty good turnout. It was, in my mind, it was very successful. I always think there's more room for growth, but by all accounts, it was extremely successful. We had some prizes, some giveaways, some raffles. One of our partners with Charge Camp, Target Hospitality, catered for us. And so we'll give everybody a meal. We had some coffee and donuts.
Mhm.
It's not just about providing opportunities, but also about networking and putting a face to the names, right? And I think it's important for our members in the industry to come out to the community and see the people in the community, talk with them, right?
Yeah, it's always good. I see it like an out there, like I see Métis Nation, then a coin basu and La Basu getting a job, getting a home, and this whole initiative on safer community, it all works in with that, giving people that foundation, the home first, right? If a guy is homeless, they're sleeping on a couch, they're probably not going to be motivated to get a job or even be bothered, or even go out on the land for that reason. So it's pretty good, to start with the homes, eh?
Ernie, and one of the things too is when we selected our homes, all of our homes are pre-manufactured, none of them are stick built. We wanted to make sure that they had character, and they didn't look just like reserve housing, that they copied a blueprint from Indian Affairs in 1980, and they just keep recycling that blueprint and building the same home. And you go to any reserve in Canada, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, the
so
homes we
you
grew
and
up
you and exactly the home that my family still lives in. So, and then, but you see some of our homes, you come through the community, you could tell which ones of our homes. They got big windows, they got character, they got arches, they got a big deck, and
in. Yeah.
that's on purpose. Yeah, I think that you have to have a sense of pride in your home. It helps you take better care of it. It builds a sense of pride within yourself, and then instills it in your children as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's all about. The how to live and even cutting your grass. If you have grass on the res, if you have a lawn, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Mhm.
See it like out there. Golf tournament, but I believe it's coming up this month or next month.
June 27th.
June 27th. Yeah, no, how currently that the golf tournament, oh, yeah, I know you kind of mentioned it a bit, but tell us what the money is for that's fundraised, and why it's golf is such a good sport to bring people together and to help others.
This is our third annual Chardonnay Invitational. This year it's a Casino Royale theme. So we're pretty excited about it. Every year it's been getting bigger and bigger and more successful. The money raised from the golf tournament goes towards our elder care program, that which I spoke about earlier. It gives us the ability to pay for our benefits for our elders. We help assist them with paying their basic needs for utilities. We just started this year giving them each a grocery card monthly to help them, put some food on the table, and any unforeseen medical costs or travel, and even, giving them some funding to go to Lake St. Anne for the pilgrimage, stuff that's important to them. We still want to maintain their quality of life, and none of our elders want to leave the community to go live in long-term care in Fort McMurray. No matter how bad a shape they're in, they want to stay in the community. They want to stay close to the family and close to what's important to them. And we want to do as much as we can to make sure that we don't take that away from them.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like some people might say, "Why don't you just leave the res?" It's not that easy. That's our home. Some young
Mm.
people, I mean myself, I left a long time ago, but I still go home. I still need to go home, and the elders are really like that. And
Mm.
before I ended off here, I got all the questions, and I remember a few years ago. I mean, we're related to you. You talked about using business to create these programs for your people, and you're doing it now, so it's very good to see. It was me, whereas me, I was going to go be a social worker, and you talked about this years ago, and now you're doing it, so I'm very happy to see that, bro.
No, mercy, mercy. It's You know what? I wake up every day, and I'm very fortunate. I wake up thinking I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to do, and this is what I had dreamed of doing since I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And it all came from being raised by my grandmother, my family with very little resources. And I remember just thinking when I was a kid, as 12, 13 years old, said, when I grow up, you know, we're not going to have to you know, struggle and I'm going to do everything I can to help my family. Hamal's not going to have to freaking, you
Hmm.
know, budget to feed 10 or 12 people, right?
Yeah,
And not have to worry about running out of food at every month, waiting for the check to come in, right?
yeah.
So, and, you know, and doing everything we can to, to help out not just their elders, but everybody else in the community.
Yeah, and one last thing before I let you go to here too, because you grew up with the language and Yaze Denedint, like bits of it, and
Yeah.
over the years you lived in Fort McMurray and it's faded away with you, but I don't believe it's gone. It's still there. You just need to immerse in it, but there's going to be somebody that's going to comment, why is he speaking in English, not Dene. So maybe you can tell the people, about the language and you know how it's kind of gotten away from you a bit.
Really, assuming as a Denos Teolokala, the longer you live in town, you know, the further you get away from it. I only spoke Dene until I went to school. I didn't know how to speak English because I was raised by my grandparents and my ba said, yeah, Denos. And then when I went to school in John Bay kindergarten, I was the only kid that didn't speak English. Denos till game. And then when I moved away to go to school, you know, I remember you know, there was still a language barrier there, even though I spoke English. And then to be perfectly honest, when I worked out at site for 8 years, all those, everybody out at, not everybody, I saw a few people out at site, you know, and a lot of them were from the East Coast would make fun of my accent. So then make fun of my accent and ridicule me and, you know, or not knowing at the time that it was a form of racism. And it was very commonplace. So I educated myself. I learned how to, you know, speak the English language a little bit better, but in turn, didn't realize I was eliminating my own language.
Hmm.
And you know, now I just 100%. You know, I could work on it, and I could definitely become fluent again,
Yeah,
and I understand it pretty well. But also knowing that, you know, that one of the sacrifices I made is in being able to do what I'm doing now is one of them is part of my language.
yeah,
And you know, if me being out here in the city, uh, developing business and bringing in work and resources from a community means that somebody else in my community, Raul or whoever else, that gives them the opportunity to keep doing what they're doing, living off the land and keeping their culture strong, then I mean, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
yeah. And one more thing to add to back in the day, probably. So you would have worked there almost 20 years ago because I moved there 18 years ago now. So um, not many Dene people, even for myself at Syncrude, I started there in 2006, and it wasn't until
Um,
Fort McKay came in there. I didn't see many brown people like me. So it was,
Ernie.
I can I can understand. I mean, my English has gotten better because I worked there too, but I've been able to retain
Uh,
Dene too. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. Mas senior seeing Justin doing zinige salhun tahin dao, and maybe that's one of the things Chart Métis can do for the young people is the language classes or something like that. You can provide that easily. So anything else you want to add? Any future dates for the Chart Métis? If not, we'll finish her off.
no, we're still trying to finalize our date for our culture camp. Golf tournament June 27th. We have a reverse trade show in Calgary, October 16th, downtown. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. If you follow us on Facebook for Chart Métis Nation, you know, we keep that pretty updated.
Okay, masicho.
Mercy.
Alrighty, kuyi sala Justin Herman delay Taylor in Chart Métis. Uh, couple ways Métis und dieser Tanis Mbeyazu. What's the other one? Benasnile. There's several ways. Tanta yuni zire benaresni kole sometimes, Benasnila. But Masi Cho, see Laganat Dela. I know Raul a Bahalja Tileni Laxin Adun Nena who there's not or not Kyoto. Your quibble to Yaziresh Jahani so Salah Justin Bahal Dun Zinegasi Nesa. Let's go Young Guns this weekend. They start playing Gabi Bonidias and Fred Sasaka Musia Teots in the Kenule Young Guns fan who needed the I believe 12:30 first game tomorrow. Let's see here. Let's see. Game number 1, 12 o'clock Thursday, May 16. Lake Young Guns versus the Beardies Blackhawks. So check it out. Live Fred Sasakamoose tournament season. I won't be there, but wish everyone the best. Congratulations, Rebecca Strong, once again, and also good luck. If you're traveling, be safe. Have a good weekend. Next week, I'm headed to Lac Brochet, Dalutwe. I believe everything is still a go. So, Masicho, have a good night. Aho.